Hey guys and gals, and well, that's all. Welcome to Talking Time of Caffeine, the podcast where stuff happens, we rant,
and we drink soda, or whatever else that contains caffeine, I guess.
Yes. Whew. I have my topic for tonight. So,
is it your worship of the bag of bullshit?
It depends. If the bag of bullshit is my breaking point. That's my topic for tonight. Hashtag the breaking point. The point where you just can't fucking take it anymore.
I've had that on more than one occasion in the past.
I had that Sunday to be called in at work again on my day off. I was like, fuck you! I almost told off a customer.
Oh.
Because they pissed me off. I was like, oh, I was already in a bad fucking mood, working for 8 days in a row. They got stupid. It's like, I thought the muffins were $4. I'm like, they are. They don't change it total. Stupid computer at McDonald's is fucked up anyways. You like, there's deals for like promo deals, but when you ring it in normally, it tells the normal price, but it doesn't hit the deal price until together. Like, but that's the price is wrong. I know it's wrong price. Change the price. Like fucking bitch. Like, I didn't say that part. I was being very frustrated. I wanted to say that. Like, no deals for you, bitch. Some old lady, but.
Oh man.
Oh, you're making me think about what happened at my work once.
But yeah, so like.
When I was working at my school.
Oh, I figured that story then. My niece had a similar story today. My niece had the hair salon, which used to be our sponsor last season. Or not our sponsor, but our advertisement. Well, she was all set to buy a new house today. Get the keys and everything for a new house. And all of a sudden, today she finds out that her real estate agent got fired. And I was going through all this stuff for 4 weeks. She's been blowing this up. All of a sudden, you know, agent got fired today, or she quit, whatever. So you got to wait for three more days to get your house now. for do all the paperwork again. Out of nowhere. And the real estate agent, some other person, you know, worked for an agency too. She came into her business today in her salon. It's like in the middle of the busy day. It's like, oh, I gotta talk to you. Like, I'm busy, right? It's like, I'm busy right now. You know, I know. That's what I'm telling you this now. So you can't yell at me in front of customers. Basically, she didn't say that. You know, that's the reason she went there. You know, like, yeah. I'm telling you, I'm busy in the public place, and you can't yell at me. When I tell you can't get your house today, you plan to for a month now. You gotta wait for 5 days now. You know, you're packed up. You know, you're packed up, ready to go, and you're homeless now. So, good luck with that. Bye. She had to hold her temper. So I got there later today for my haircut. So yeah, it's like, wow. So Stick, what was your breaking point?
Oh, I didn't really have a breaking point, but I did almost see a teacher reach his breaking point.
At your store?
Huh?
At your college store?
No, when I was working my on-campus job back when I was in school. So, during my fifth semester working there, the lab director proposed I offer tutorials to people who didn't know how to use certain technology. So surprise, surprise, an old woman who was a student there actually asked if we could teach her how to use an iPad Pro, which her French class was using. And ultimately, I couldn't do the tutorial because I was called away to help another professor. But another worker in the lab did the tutorial for her. And she really liked it. So I offered to continue. So, in her own words, "You're gonna test me tomorrow." So, yeah, she comes in around 12, 1 hour before I have to close the lab. And she's asking for the iPad. Thing is, I walked in on the end of her session the previous day, so I saw exactly what iPad she was using. So I went to go get the iPad. I set up the iPad with the keyboard and everything, and she's like, "This is not the same iPad. Go get my iPad." But I looked at the back. It was her iPad. So I'm like thinking to myself, does this lady have bad memory problems or something? And then I find out the problem she had was that when she was given the directions, there was no keyboard attached. So, finally, after several tries of her saying, "This is not my iPad. If you don't give me the right iPad, I go talk to her," meaning the lab director.
Like, okay.
And I'm like, okay, so I'm at my wit's end. I gave her several iPads, and she kept insisting it was the wrong one. She kept insisting the one she was given was bigger, even though there is no bigger iPad than what we had. Huh?
At the time, or?
There is no big... We had the freaking iPad Pro. You can't get a bigger one than that.
Oh.
So, I finally... My final solution was to just detach the keyboard, because it is detachable. I take off the keyboard, I just bring a plain iPad to her. Alright, so, there's no keyboard. And she just yells, "No! No!" I go talk to her.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So she leaves, and I just felt like I was lectured by my gram for some reason.
Did you ever ask her what it looked like?
I asked her what it looked. All she would answer is that it was bigger.
Bigger. It's bigger!
Ma'am, are you sure you're talking about a tablet or a laptop with a touchscreen?
So, she went to go confront the lab director and the assistant that was working in the office at the time, and apparently she got into such a loud yelling match with the lab director, and some of it was even recorded. I don't have the recording with me, but I got to listen to part of it.
Actually, I just realized you might have told me this story one time before.
Yeah, I think I told you back when it actually happened.
Yeah.
So
I even let you listen to the recording I got.
So she was like a bit to them too?
Yeah, she was yelling at them too, not to mention she ended up making a racist remark at the lab director.
That's always fun in today's environments.
Especially with the recent news of the Roseanne reboot being cancelled because of Roseanne Barr's racist remarks. But... So, eventually her French professor comes across her and he tries to instruct her. He comes to the lab with her and he asks to get one of the iPads that I would normally give him for his class. And he ends up trying to explain to her how the iPad is the same one. The argument went for about an hour. At least, like, a half hour at least, but I think it was about an hour.
She's arguing with the teacher now about it?
Yeah, she was arguing with the teacher. Let me tell you, I didn't record this part, like, I didn't think to. But, initially, like, she made such stubborn comments and was basically so ignorant and unwilling to accept that she made a wrong judgment, that the teacher was he was trying so hard just not outright yell at her.
Oh my god.
Did you want to yell at her yet?
I mean, no, I was just watching. I was just shocked at what was unfolding. But
Schnick.
Eventually, like, all I remember from this rant was, that she ended up going on and on about how the new lab director was bad and how the old lab director was such a good man. He was such a good man. He booked a flight for me. Which is another story. The exact same woman a year prior actually asked me how to book a flight, which I didn't know how to do. And then the French teacher responded aptly, "But that wasn't his job! The old person was such a good man, he booked a flight for me, but that wasn't his job!"
What is this, your lab instructor, or is this a flight or a travel agent now?
And eventually I went to go see how the lab director and the lab assistant in the office were doing, and they said they recorded it. Like, I think the reason why I held off recording it at first was because I was worried I would get in trouble for it. But then when I found out they did it, I was like, there I go, now I can do it. So I go back and I plant the phone on the desk, and I actually did start recording it.
Schnick.
What?
You know what this whole situation reminds me of?
What?
You're gonna have to help me quote it, because I don't know how exactly it goes, but it's the scene in which, I forgot what evil man's name is, tries to give Wallet back to Patrick in an attempt to try and be good.
The episode, the Mermaid Man Barnacle Boy episode where Man Ray has to return Patrick's wallet.
Yeah.
What, you need to know the script of that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, well... Alright, let's see... Alright, I will do the whole script. Are you ready?
Yes.
Alright. Okay, Man Ray. Are you ready for your first day at Goodness School? Packet your wallet out. Okay, Goodness lesson number 1. You see someone drop their wallet. Patrick dropped the wallet. Now, what do you do?
Excuse me, sir, but I do believe you've dropped your wallet. Doesn't look familiar to me.
What? I just saw you drop it. Here.
Nope, it's not mine.
It is yours. I am trying to be a good person and return it to you.
Return what to who?
Aren't you Patrick Star?
Yup.
And this is your ID.
Yup.
I found this ID in this wallet. And if that's the case, this must be your wallet.
That makes sense to me.
Then take it.
It's not my wallet. Oh, you devil! Take back your wallet or I rip your arms off!
Oh my god. SpongeBob is your boss, you are Man Ray, and the person you were dealing with is Patrick. There you fucking go. That's exactly what was going on.
This is your iPad. My iPad.
Except it was the teacher and I didn't get much interesting in the recording. It was mostly just him slowly trying to convince her that the iPad, not only is the iPad the exact same one she was always using, but that the fact that the school does so much to provide things for people that don't need to purchase things because because she brings up at one point how she doesn't want to buy technology. And at one point, she actually ends up making a claim, I don't want to spend money to me. I don't want to spend money on useless stuff. I almost said useless shit, but she didn't say that. She's like, to me, money is like water. I'm not American. I'm not greedy.
What? Okay,
like
but you need, but I mean, you do need money, but like,
money's like
you gotta spend it.
If money's like water, then yeah, then it's really good. You only need this water.
And then the funny thing is, the teacher's response is, "So you think all Americans are greedy? Okay, that's it. I'm done. Except at that point, it was kind of a joking point. And then he's like, "Come on, let's go, let's get out of here. Come on." He's not working anymore. He's not getting paid. He wants to go home. He pointed at me.
Hey, Mario, technical problems. The chat's not working.
The chat isn't?
Yeah. Sparrow's talking in YouTube chat, and I'm on checking the Twitch chat too, but neither chat's appearing on the chat thing.
Okay. Hold on a second.
Olga Bubbas have invaded.
Like, this is your iPad. No, it's not my iPad. It has your picture on it. It's not my iPad. Mine was bigger. Mine was that big. There's no iPod that. There is no iPad that big, ma'am. It was bigger.
All right. People in chat, type something and see if the chat works now.
It doesn't seem to work.
It's still not working?
Yeah.
Might have to do it the old-fashioned way, I guess.
The iBoard, that you can either use it as a device or a sled.
Alright, hold on. Let me see if me typing something does anything. That's strange.
Is it now?
Alrighty then. Apparently, it's not working.
Oh! Oh!
Alright. Well,
Try to do the old-fashioned way up with those chats on the screen.
I can try. I'm not sure how my thing is going to react to this. Where the fuck? Okay.
I think
not that.
Mario was reaching his breaking point.
No.
Yeah, he is.
Well, it's kind of frustrating to deal with because it's being a piece of shit. Oh, damn it. Okay, whatever. That's weird. Let me try... I think it's as good as I'm gonna get.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Out what happened. I was gonna figure out what happened in the next podcast. How it's not working.
Probably just a weird glitch that'll fix itself at some point, hopefully. Anyways.
So what was your breaking point, Mario? Or you have one yet?
Well, was Schnick done with your... Schnick, are you done with your story? Schnick? Okay, well, I guess he's done. Alright. For me... Well, there is the freaking Shit Ops 3 incident, but talking about it is a bit difficult, but essentially what happened was that pretty much a glitch occurred to, like, it was, okay, how do I describe this? A glitch occurred on PS4 version of Shit Ops 3 in which the game was released for over a year, or about a year at this point. It was Halloween of 2016, I think. Yeah, Halloween 2016. And I was trying to play with friends and couldn't, and that resulted in me eventually getting so pissed off that I would later down the road break the game on New Year's Eve. Not even kidding.
I saw you made a YouTube video about it.
So, there's that. Also, as a kid, Schnick and you, Vandalia, would relate to this, probably. I had a lot of breaking points as a kid due to bullies. So there's that. I mean, other than... I mean... That's pretty much it, really. I mean, there's one huge incident that got me over a breaking point, but I don't know if it would be a good idea to talk about it here or not, because it's a lot more personal. I'm probably just not going to mention it here, but let's just say that it involved a couple knives and me having to deal with this person trying to do harm to me.
You already talked about the damn story. Oh my god.
Wait, we did? Oh.
Yeah, you told it like half a dozen times in the past couple of years.
The family.
Oh, I did? Oh, well, in that case, I can mention it because I already did. Alright, never mind. Alright, basically.
We already. Long story short, a friend of his attacked him with knives, and then he recorded the evidence, but then no one believed him, and he lost the evidence.
Not so much no one believed me, but more so the detective that I talked to, even though I gave him footage before I lost the footage, ended up telling me, oh, you need to prove that she has a mental illness before we can do anything.
Why can't he just be...
And second, did you talk about what happened today?
No, because we're still on the same topic, and I asked you if you were done with your story, but you already left.
I pretty much am done with it, because not much happened afterward.
Also, the reason why I said probably you shouldn't talk about it was because it was so long at this point, and I figure I don't really think it matters anymore. But
I think when you talked to...
Maybe I used the wrong choice of words when I said not a good idea, but more or less didn't really feel like it, I guess. I don't know. I'm not the best thinker sometimes. Anyways, so I guess that's with everybody then. Alright, let me get my other thing out of the way. Let's put,
the elephant out of the room.
Let's do that. Alright, so... Did I already talk about my brother and my incident with the back door? Or do I have to explain it?
I think you talked about how he broke in through the back door once.
Did I do it on the podcast?
I don't think so.
Well, just in case, at one point, I think during May, basically, my brother came and broke our back door because he's a crazy motherfucker and we kicked him out before he broke the back door. He broke it with a brick. What?
Is this the one that had went to that
rehab?
church? Yeah.
Yeah. He was the one that was staying at our house for a while because he's homeless and he needed a place to stay, so we gave him a place to stay to try and get him back on his feet. And he stayed here for quite a while. At first he was doing fine, and then, well, eventually he just kind of went to shit out of nowhere. So, yeah, eventually we kicked him out because we were sick of his shit. And then at one point my parents thought, oh, you know what, maybe we should just look for him again and try and continue helping him. And then, literally the day after, or sometime after, my parents tried searching for him and failed to find him. He breaks through our back door early in the morning, in which my mom and my dog was in the living room sleeping on an air mattress because during this time my dog was still recovering from surgery on her neck. And the brick almost ended up hitting my mom and my dog. Luckily it didn't reach them far enough. So we called cops, he got arrested, and we got a restraining order on him. And pretty much he's broke the restraining order a few times already. In fact, I think he broke it like the first couple of days that we got the restraining order in the first place. The first time, I believe, was when he messaged my mom, or tried to call my mom. So he already broke it, which, I'm like, you're fucking stupid, you idiot. And then today, specifically, apparently, my brother, well, it was most likely my brother, he came back here and decided to throw a couple of chairs. They were plastic chairs. He threw them across the yard for some reason and then left. We're assuming that it was him because me and my parents don't have any reason to think why anyone else would come through our back door and just do that. There wasn't strong winds of any kind. It wasn't like raining, so that couldn't have been weather. So we just came to the conclusion that it was him. So we called the cops and put another file down. And, oh yeah, actually, I forgot to mention, he was released at one point before this, and we don't know why. And, well, that's why he was able to do this, because he was released at some point, and we just can't really figure out why. He must have came back here looking for something and or trying to quote-unquote warn us about him or whatever. Like, oh, I can fuck you people up or whatever. So, yeah, now we're trying to research a good security camera system. So then next time he does end up coming here, at least he'll be caught on camera.
Speaking of security systems, did you hear about the that Echo Dot scandal?
Watch one.
It's a local thing. I don't know if it's national, but apparently their Echo Dot recorded a conversation, a private conversation between her husband and her, and sent it off their contact list.
Oh, I heard somewhat about that. Like, I mean, basically, all the information you told me is all I know about the story. And I just kind of pushed it off to the side because I figured it's probably just some more bullshit. But, you don't know anything else about that?
I saw that in the 5-minute news. Like, what I saw was in that 4-minute news clip I saw watching TV. Like said, don't put your contacts in your Echo Dot, and like, because apparently they can like, and you got it muted and stuff. It's like apparently technology it's Terminator levels. It records your conversations, and now it sends it off to people. You're knowing it. Like
sorry to interrupt, but technically, people saying, "Oh, the best thing you can do is put the thing on mute." That's kind of bad. What? Really, YouTube? Why is it held for review? Fuck you. Don't hold that shit for review. Fuck off, YouTube. Anyways, It's kind of
Yeah,
bad.
somehow Pokesource doesn't get help from review.
No, it's because he misspelled it by one letter. Anyways, it's bad advice because all the mute button does, for all I know, is, you know, if it really records everything and sends it off to somewhere, if you put it on quote-unquote mute, all the device will do is just ignore pretty much the wake call. So, yeah, technically you could still have it being recorded. Your best bet would be to just unplug the fucker. But I typically kind of go towards the I don't believe it kind of scenario, because if anyone says, oh, I'm scared of the thing because they're recording my stuff to the FBI, okay, lady, well, what is the FBI gonna do, huh? Like, it's, yeah, they're listening to you, great, but it's not like they're gonna come to your fucking house or something. Give me a break. Like, what are they gonna do with your conversations, huh? Do you really think they're just gonna look through everybody's thing in and out all the fucking time? And it's just kind of stupid in my opinion.
Oh, I found the article about it. See, I'll link it.
There is one thing I've seen recently, though. I've seen one video where this guy did a test with Google and the microphone, in which he basically would talk about dog toys, and he specifically talked about dog toys. He talked about specific dog toys or brands or whatever for a solid minute to a minute and a half, I think. And then he'd stop, he'd click on a bunch of links, and lo and behold, he saw ads of dog toys.
Hauser said he broke up with girls and they wasted his time. That was his breaking point, apparently.
Broken as in breaking up, or broken as in your breaking point?
I don't know, so he broke their legs, I was thinking.
Jeez. Oh, and the link. What does this link say? Alright, I'm gonna read the link you sent on chat.
Pokesource, you got a number on me. You got to hold an alligator, I only got to touch one.
How big is the alligator?
It's probably a baby one.
Okay, pretty much the article consists of, oh, these people are worried that their device got hacked, and then they straight up say, well, Amazon straight up says that what must have happened was a string of events in which the device thought it said multiple things to eventually get to a point where it records whatever message and then sends it to someone else. And I don't know how this acquaintance thing is. I've heard something about calling through Amazon Echo. I don't really know how that works, but it might have something to do with that. The only thing I could really think of that you could do is mute the device, but as far as I'm aware of, if you have multiple ones, I don't think there's a mute all devices option. So if you have multiple devices, you're going to have to go up to every one of them and mute them, which is kind of... it's not really worth it at that point.
Speaking of Amazon, you hear about the other Amazon, not conspiracy, other Amazon problem?
An Amazon conspiracy?
Oh, not conspiracy, but apparently a lot of people are returning things to products to Amazon so they cancel their accounts. Like they banned them from their account for returning stuff.
Like, just generally speaking, or purposely?
I don't know. I guess something was wrong with their stuff. They returned it, returned a lot of stuff, and they're like, you know what? Amazon's like, you know what? You're banned. They find out.
Well, for me, unless I had an article to read about it, then I can't form an opinion.
I'll look at something up while you guys talk among yourselves about Tokyo's alligator or something.
Where?
So yeah, Schnick, have you had any security issues or whatever?
No, I've never had to deal with a break-in at all. But once my cousin, when she was working at her jewelry store, she actually got robbed at gunpoint.
Wow.
Yeah, like it was these GTA douchebag wannabes that dressed up like women, and you could see security camera footage of them bringing everybody behind the behind the store and trying to get all the goods. And then these two old men who wanted their watch batteries replaced apparently came to the door asking if they can... Oh, the store's open, right? And then apparently one of the thugs went to the door and told them to get the fuck out of there, quote unquote. And then thankfully a police officer happened to be in the area, and thanks to the complaints from the old men, like the officer knew what was going on. So the police were called, and the thugs immediately fled. There were 3 that went in the store and 1 that was supposed to be a getaway driver. The getaway driver fled the scene upon the police sirens. Going off. And then the 3 other crooks, they tried leaving out the back door, but they couldn't get the back door open because it was security locked. So they ended up dropping all the goods they were trying to steal just to get the door open, and they just left without the goods. Pretty much the only thing they took was a watch that was on my cousin's hand, and I have no idea if it was recovered. Though I do know that one by one, the 4 perps were caught. Like, I think one of the 3 people that went in the store was caught immediately trying to change out of his freaking disguise. Whereas the other 2 were caught in hiding, as well as the driver. I think the driver was caught second. Thing is, when I was working... actually, it doesn't pertain to the story, never mind. Everyone's dead silent.
Yeah, we are still engaged. But basically, yeah, they returned stuff and they got banned for it.
Supposedly, it's because they don't want people abusing returns.
Guys at Amazon, the shoppers who make too many returns. Amazon banned us for making too many returns. New York Post. So yeah, so you gotta be careful. Apparently, you gotta be careful if you return. Apparently, you gotta be careful if you return too much stuff. If you shop through it, do you still shop through Amazon? Or you shop other places now?
Haven't really shopped through Amazon in a while because I don't have a Prime membership. And I've noticed, more often than not, Amazon just loves to lock items behind Prime. Like, oh, if you don't have a Prime, it says exclusively for Prime members, which means you either have to buy third-party or cave in and get Prime. Except the problem is if you go third-party, you're not always guaranteed to get the same thing you're trying to buy. Like, I tried to buy a 2-pack DVD. Well, twice this has happened. First, I tried to buy a Blu-ray triple feature of the Blade trilogy. Instead of getting the triple feature Blu-ray that was pictured, which is meant to be a single case with 3 discs inside of it, instead, the seller sent me 3 separate cases, all of which were the separate movies, and the copies of the movies came from Canada. Which was a bad thing, considering that the third movie did not have the unrated cut on the Canadian version. Then the second time it happened was pretty much last week. Though admittedly not as severe. I tried to buy a DVD double feature of the 2 Sony-owned Muppet movies, Muppets Take Manhattan and Muppets from Space. The picture indicated I was going to get a single DVD case with 2 discs. What I ended up getting was this weird slipcover thing that contained standalone DVD copies of the movies. At the very least, they were basically the same thing I was trying to get.
So was at least a Muppet movie? Muppet movies?
They were Muppet movies, yes.
Okay, like you open it up, it's like, oh, this is... Oh, I opened it all! This is a Chinese Muppet movie ripoff.
I don't even think there is, like, a stupid rip-off mockbuster of the Muppets. Maybe there is, but I never heard of it.
So, I read the entire article, and basically, the gist of it is that Amazon did not disclose to whoever wrote the article how exactly they flag accounts if they quote-unquote abuse the return system. All that they really said about it is, oh, there might be rare occasions where people do abuse it, and we have to protect everybody, and we take these decisions. And they also said that if the customer believes that they made an error, they can contact Amazon directly and figure it out. So, there you go.
So...
But honestly, if you're gonna...
were just whining?
What?
Do you think the customers were just whining?
No, it was just basic... The article was basically talking about how, oh, unlike an actual store where if you buy clothes you can try it out before you leave, with Amazon you can't do that. So, yeah,
so they were
have more
clothes.
No, not specifically, but the point that they were trying to get across was that unlike, okay, if you go to a physical store when you're buying electronics or whatever, you can try most things out before you even buy it. But with Amazon, you cannot do that. So basically, when you get an item, you're either going to like it or you're not going to like it, and there will be more of a chance that you're going to return the product in the first place when you get it through Amazon. If you get it through a physical store, you have less of a chance to need to return something.
So, well, yeah, I understand that going to a physical store lets you try before you buy, and buying online doesn't.
It's like
So what you're saying is buying online is comparable to this.
it's like
Oh,
it's like when you bought your iPhone from that Canada guy.
The Canada guy? I kind of couldn't hear half of what you said because Schnick was fucking...
I said it's like when you bought your iPhone from that guy who had the
Oh, that
Canada
scam? Yeah.
like
Yeah, it is like that.
you can't return it either. Like, I'm gonna return this. What? I don't hear you. Blah, 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 blah.
No, the reason why I couldn't return it was because eBay failed to warn me about the consequences of what would happen if I canceled the thing, and I messed up by not putting in one little detail, so I figured, oh, I might as well edit it, but there was no way to edit it, so I thought, oh, maybe if I close one and reopen another, that would work. But because eBay didn't warn me what would happen, or clearly state what would happen, I got fucking screwed.
Now you fucked up.
So, yeah. I still have that phone, by the way.
What do you plan to break it?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm not.
Break it because it's useless.
No.
Watch our
Yes.
hashtag destruction video.
Yay! Where MarioTube discusses the art that went into the elegant spin.
Oh my god.
Like you, I still remember that Pac-Man video. Was
Oh,
it Pac-Man? They destroyed.
Well, there was the New Year's Eve thing that I did, where I made like a stupid skit that was more an excuse to just destroy the game. And there was a separate video I did at some other point where I rant about some asshole called What's Inside that broke a Pac-Man machine for no fucking reason. And keep in mind, the Pac-Man machine was in perfect working condition. There was nothing wrong with it in any way. Oh, and also his video format was so fucking garbage that I also had to talk about it. Like, I swear to God, I should make a video at some point that's basically a tutorial on how not to be a fucking asshole YouTube creator.
So, this is for later, but Snick, do you have like an onion about your recently breaking, like as elementary school, Snick, if you reach your breaking point?
What the fuck?
I do have one story of something that happened big time, though it was a middle school schnick story. And it was actually a time where middle school schnick was kind of in the right.
Ooh. So before we get to that, anybody else have any other subjects to talk? If we get to the onion, yeah, that's usually our last subject. Do you have any other subject you guys want to talk about?
Well, I don't know if we should talk about this now or some other point, but an idea would be employment experience.
Okay.
My experience with trying to get employment. Though, the thing with that is that I can't really say too much about it because, well, I haven't gotten to that point just yet. Like, I'm barely even started, so...
I've gotten there a few times. In fact, in high school, at least back then, they taught you how to do a resume. In the 90s. I don't know if you guys in that class or not.
Actually, funny enough, my Cisco class, well, they kind of taught you, but more or less it was more of just following a checklist and a certain format, pretty much. Like, oh, you gotta have these things generally, and you gotta have it in this, like this. Well, actually, he didn't say there was one format, but he only showed us one format. He said, oh, and by the way, I say he because it was teacher, male teacher. Anyways, my teacher was like, "Oh, you know, this format is good, but there are also better formats," and yet he never even showed us said formats. So it's like, okay, great, thanks. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Basically, I remember it's been a while since I filled out a resume. I need to type things again soon. I gotta remember this stuff. I gotta get a new job. But this print clearly, you know, like your past jobs on it and your skills and references.
In fact, actually, I remember at one point, I think 2016, where I had my dad try and help me with making a resume. I'm not really sure what my intent was, but I had him help me, and he told me that he knew a person that, well, not knew, but he knows a person that can help with me even more by pointing out what I did wrong and what I can do better about it, because this person knew about making resumes a lot more than he did. So, like, I guess he generally knew what I needed to have, but not, like, advanced stuff or anything. So, yeah, and then I had the person email me back and point out stuff, I guess. I still have the emails. But,
speaking of past jobs, can you put your time at your mom's diner as a job?
I can say I volunteered there. I mean, I didn't have employment, but I can say that I volunteered. So.
Yeah, but you were paid under the table, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't think paying under the table is counting as employment, though. Especially if you're only being paid through part of someone's tip. So.
Yeah, my first job I had, I was making $4.50 an hour.
I'm sorry, $4.15?
50.
$4.50?
Yeah.
Jesus, was that the fucking norm for minimum wage back then?
Yeah, because money was worth less back then.
Oh,
well, actually, it was worth more back then, actually.
Well, minimum wage was $4.25 back then, so I was getting 50 cents up there. 25 cents up minimum wage. 96.
Actually, here's a good question. Vandalia, what do you think of the whole, oh, we should raise the minimum wage argument?
Oh.
What's your opinion on that?
Well, I say it's. I'm for it if it's at least matching. If you already have a minimum wage that's above living cost, you really don't need. I don't think you need it. But if it's not, you need it to survive. I think you need. If you can't survive on what you're making, then yeah, it should.
The last I've heard of it, in Phoenix at least, there was a whole thing in 2016. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I've heard and done in 2016, apparently. 2016 seems to be the hot year, this podcast. But anyways, I heard about how, oh, the minimum wage was raised for everybody, and because it was raised, it doesn't affect people that have higher paying jobs in any way in terms of how much they're getting paid.
Well,
sorry, there's one other thing I need to say. And not only that, but apparently it also caused everything to raise in price. And they talked about how there was a specific establishment, it was like a family-owned thing. I think it might have been like some pizzeria or something, I'm not too sure. But anyways, they were talking about how they used to have their condiments for free, but because of the fact that minimum wage was raised, now they have to sell the condiments for like 50 cents or something.
Well, here's a frequent argument I've always heard. The reason why a lot of people who work minimum wage jobs want the minimum wage increased is because they complain about how much they can't get by, how they can't pay their bills, how they can't live because they only work a minimum wage job. But now here's the kind of interesting argument I've kind of heard from a lot of people. that's not what minimum wage jobs are supposed to do. You're not supposed to. I mean, if you're living on your own, like if you live on your own and you don't live a frivolous lifestyle, then yeah, minimum wage jobs are good. But
what do you mean by frivolous?
Like basically spending your money on shit you don't need.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's wasting money is anything. But the problem with that, some jobs you can't get without college education, or even high school.
Well, now here's what I'm trying to say. Like, a lot of the people who work minimum wage jobs that want it increased have families of their own, and the thing is, it's not like one kid only. No, oftentimes they have a lot of kids. And thing is, minimum wage jobs, you're not really supposed to be working a minimum wage job if you're trying to raise a family. At least that's the argument I've always heard from a lot of people that do it. And the thing is, anytime the minimum wage increases, yeah, it actually contributes to price inflation. It causes businesses to lose money. So that's why people should try to push for at least some form of higher education, so that way they can get higher paying jobs that would allow them to do such things.
Yeah. My problem that is you gotta have money to get to college. But yeah, but I also read the price thing article too. They said both sides of it. Like McDonald's, let's say the McDonald's for example, I saw it says if McDonald's raises the minimum wage for people, then they're gonna have to raise the prices of the food. And they're like, but then people are like, I agree with that. The other part is like, but the owner's getting like $5,000 a day profit, from his thing, so he can afford like a 5 cents raise in your Big Mac or something. Is it going to affect his profit? Is it going to affect his profit margin at all? Because people are going to eat at McDonald's, no matter how expensive it is. Because people are addicted to McDonald's.
Yeah, and people are sheep. I mean, we all have seen it with Apple, so.
And we've seen it with Darkside Phil.
It's like, oh my god, the Big Mac's $2.55 now. Oh well, I'm so hungry.
That's why in Shitty RPG 4, I'm going to explore that concept.
And that whole thing with people spending no matter how much something expensive is, well, in my opinion, it's a lot of having to do with the control of media. Because media is basically power if you use it correctly. And we kind of see it every day, too. Every time someone spends at McDonald's, even at McDonald's food isn't actual food, except for one thing on the menu, according to Vandalia, a person that works at said McDonald's. Every time we see someone spending money there, that basically has a lot to do with media. Same thing with Apple. And a lot of other places.
Yeah, it's like Apple's like it's like you guys they advertise it so much it's in your brain.
Yeah.
Even though it's like the cheapest laptop for Apple is $1,000. It's like.
And I can provide a bad example of it not being able to control the media properly. Nintendo with their Wii U, their advertisements were shitty, and because they were so shit and there was a lack of them, then, well, that basically made the Wii U not successful.
Just like the Vita, actually.
Well, I guess. I'm not really too familiar with the Vita, so I can't really comment on it. All I know is that it failed
I'll tell you this much.
reason.
I actually saw I saw a decent amount of Vita commercials, but then here's the thing. The last Vita commercial I ever saw was for Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified, which was basically meant to be the system's killer app. too bad they got a shitty developer to develop the game within a span of only a couple of months, and it turned out to be a pretty bad game. Which, more or less, probably... And when Sony was like, oh my god, if we can't even sell Call of Duty on the Vita is worthless! So they pretty much gave on it right then and there. Never again after that did I ever see a single ad for the Vita.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I said before, I'll say it again. I guess it's the last time.
So, to their very slight credit, this was back when Call of Duty was a big name, because the game was released to coincide with Black Ops 2.
But the Switch and the Wii U almost look identical, kind of, almost.
Yeah, that is funny how the two controllers, that's a bad way to explain it. It's funny how the Switch with Joy-Cons connected and the Wii U gamepad look similar to each other. Almost looks like the Wii U was a prototype. Which is funny because I've actually seen footage of the game ARMS. Its prototype was literally being made on the Wii U only because the Switch, I guess the Switch wasn't ready at the time of the production when it first happened, so fucking producers of ARMS were using the Wii U to test their game until Switch came out, or whatever. Well, not came out, but more so available for the developers. But it is really interesting, though.
So I was thinking, so Nintendo already is Nintendo already making the next product already?
No, then
the Switch U.
Oh my god. I personally think that at this point they're done with the Wii name forever. Just like how they were done with the Game Boy line as soon as Game Boy Advance was dead. Which is kind of saddening, but... Is
not the Game Boy DS or Game Boy 3DS? It's not Game Boy anymore?
What? No.
No,
no, Game Boy Advance was done when the Game Boy... wait, no. Okay, let me explain it in a better way. Basically, when the DS line came, the DS line was staying for several years, and after DS, there was no such thing as a Game Boy at that point. They were done. Well, I mean, they had backwards compatibility with the DS and DS Lite, but after the DSi, never again.
So it's called Nintendo 3DS, not Nintendo Game Boy 3DS?
Yeah, the first one, you said. Did you never know that?
No, I know that.
What?
I did not know. I wasn't paying attention. I guess I did not know they were the one were called the game. I thought it was always called the Game Boy.
Did you own a 3DS?
No, I thought this one I owned was an Advantage.
Well,
or Advance. Remember that damn thing? I can't pronounce. Never. Damn, I keep pronouncing it wrong. Advantage. Whatever it's called.
well,
I owned a
damn.
Pocket, a Color, and a regular, an Advance, but never owned anything past that.
Did you? You didn't have SP?
No.
Oh.
Don't own that either.
Well, shit. After all these years, Vandalian never realized that the 3DS was just called the 3DS, not the Game Boy 3DS.
Yeah, because the PlayStation was called the PlayStation Portable, PlayStation Vita, still the PlayStation, but... weird. That's why I use it. I can't figure out how to use this right now.
You forgot how to use the Wii U?
Yeah, I can't search. Try to search for a game on their store.
Oh. Hey, I forgot. Did you get Splatoon anything, Vandalian?
Not yet.
No? Okay.
I was planning to, but I haven't got it yet.
Well, since you have a Switch, I recommend you get the second game because well, you're not really missing much with the first game. Unless you really want to know how the single player was in the first game, again, you're not missing much.
Yeah, there's some point. Yeah, speaking of games like and sequels and stuff, I guess there's some point of not even getting the original game. You get the sequel. The story is like with Splatoon, I guess.
Well, Splatoon is the first game that I've personally noticed that, oh, you're not going to get much from the first one anymore if you missed out on the first one. I mean, honestly, you're not going to miss much because I don't really think there's a whole lot you're missing from gear. I mean, single player is just... I mean, single player story is so basic that you can pretty much just read up about it and you'll be fine. Like, it's not anything deep or whatever. It's a pretty simple story. And multiplayer, yeah, you're not missing much with multiplayer whatsoever. Splatfests aren't even... Well, Splatfests haven't been a thing on the Wii U for a long time, so there's no point in Splatfests.
You're right. There.
Yep, there's Game Boy right there. And Wii. And DS and all the others. But anyways,
Hey, game for us. Welcome to the chat.
Well,
anyways, oh yeah, multiplayer. So yeah, other than Splatfest, basic multiplayer, pretty much the only people that seem to be playing the game are Japanese people, which in my experience have been pretty good a lot of the time. But you're going to have a hard time finding any American players. You might come across some, but every time I played it, ever since Splatoon 2 came out, it's pretty much been mainly Japanese. I mean, you can still find games. It's not like it's hard, well, from last I played at least. But, yeah. Nothing really current is going on there. No new updates or nothing. Splatoon 2 is still current. Though I'm still wondering how much longer it's going to be till they stop doing Splatfests on that game, too. They'll probably do it for another year. I don't know.
Alright, so... And that's off that subject. Or I think we got distracted from our... I think we got distracted from our employment subject. Talking about Nintendo. And McDonald's and money.
Oh. I kind of assumed we were done. Are we done, or...?
I don't know. I think I was going to say, we talked about employment, and the minimum wage, and Nintendo, and Big Macs and stuff, and Apples.
Well, we kind of got off track ever since I mentioned media.
So Snick, you ready for your onion, or?
It's only a quick story involving middle school schnick. So, as I previously have mentioned in previous times before, middle school schnick and elementary school schnick's mom and dad were very anti-damn video games.
Mr. Grounded.
So, and I'll tell you this much, if they found any faults with me, they would immediately blame the games, even if they had nothing to do with the situation.
Blame video games, blame video games, blame video games.
It kind of settled down, like, late middle school. I think either 6th or 7th, I think 7th grade was a bit of a breaking point. One weekend in 7th grade, there was a bit of a breaking point.
Yeah.
So, one day, my ma ends up going on a rampage with me. Going on and on. She angrily starts yelling at me for being so rude, and she out of nowhere brings up, have you been getting some reading done? You need to start reading more. No more games. No more games. You need to read. And my dad gets so fed up with me too that he ends up, I forget most of what he said. All I know is that he angrily demanded me, I want a full book report handed to me today.
There you go, Stick. Reading a book about a game.
Is that...
What the hell?
Oh my god. Wait.
Kingdom Hearts novel.
That's the first one? Oh, the first...
Yeah.
Wait, what volume? Wait a
Volume
fucking...
1.
Oh, wait, novel! Oh, I was thinking the manga. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a huge difference.
It's an actual novel. Here you go, like Mom, Dad, the Kingdom Hearts novel.
I read the novel. The novel's good.
Yeah.
At least the first Kingdom Hearts one. Anyways, go on.
So, yeah, it got to the point where my dad was yelling at me really bad about how I needed to do a book report for him. And it gets to the point where I was actually kind of crying against the wall, claiming the way he was yelling at me was scary. And it got to the point where he was trying to keep up the anger, but then eventually he felt bad and just kind of dropped it, though my mom was not as easy to get to drop it.
Wow.
But you wanna know why all of that started?
Why?
Why it got to that point? Because when I was going upstairs to use the bathroom, when I first woke up in the morning, I didn't say hi to my mom.
What? Are you fucking kidding me?
That's how it went. I go up the stairs, I look at my mom, I didn't say anything, but maybe it's because I had a blank expression, but thing is, I did the exact same thing all the time, and normally she would say hi to me first, and I would say hi back, but today she doesn't say hi to me first. I'm just like, okay. As soon as I start climbing the stairs, why didn't you say hi to me? Why are you so rude? And that's how the whole freaking day of hell started.
Oh my god.
The day of hell.
Yeah.
Is there more to this story?
Not really. It's basically meant to drive him the point that while elementary school schnick and middle school schnick were both idiots that deserved a lot of what they got, there were times when freaking he got lectured for no reason.
So what's the book report about? I'm curious now.
That was the breaking point, how my dad had me crying against the wall.
Not your book report. I said that. So what was your book report?
I didn't write a damn book report. That book report can go fuck itself.
So you defied your parents by going, no book report for you, because you're too scary.
Oh, actually, I do remember once my gram was demanding me to read when I was even younger. My gram and the fabled Uncle Wally. They were demanding me to read, but you wanna know what they were trying to force me to read? They basically pointed at the first book, the first two books they found, which were books meant for preschoolers, and I was in 3rd grade.
Cat in the Hat.
No, they were just generic bullshit. I don't even remember what they were. All I remember is that they were forcing me to read those books. I was like, fine, I'll read, but let me read something that's not a baby book. And they're like, no, read these.
You're like, okay,
And, by the
fine,
time,
okay,
and they forced, and the best part is, it was almost like a freaking torture thing, because they were making, not only did I have to read them, I had to read them aloud.
well,
Actually, you know what this reminds me of?
What?
I remember how, while I was in elementary school, I guess I was put in trouble for some reason. I don't remember what, but apparently I got in trouble for something. I remember this fucking asshole. He put me... Well, he made me go in this corner of the class that had, like, a shelf of books, and he wanted me to get, like, a book or two to take with me to go to a different room so I can be forced to read or something like that. And at the time, when it came to decision making, like what I should get specifically, I was very careful with my choice, because pretty much I would just look around and I'd like deeply think about what I should get. And this happened a lot when it came to video games too. When it came to video games, I kind of saw it as like a rare occurrence. So, I'm just guessing. I don't know how I actually saw it, but I mean, it might as well have been a rare occurrence. But yeah, I would just look around the game store and just really think about what I want to get. I'd stay there as long as like an hour to an hour and a half just looking at the same things until I'd eventually decide on what to get. And of course, while it didn't take me an hour and a half to look for a book or two, I still did think about what book specifically I wanted to get. And the person that was getting me to, or making me get a book, fucking rudely told me, well, I don't know what he said, but he was being rude about me and trying to get me to hurry up, and I fucking lashed it out at him, saying that, you know, I don't know what I want to get, or, you know, I don't even know. That's all I remember, pretty much. I'm just mumbling shit that I don't know about. All I remember, I was forced to get a book or two. Person was rude and wanted me to hurry up and told me in a rude way, got pissed off even more, and chose a couple books. But I guess the moral of the story would be, if you know that the kid is autistic, don't be a fucking dick when you're dealing with autistic kids, because that's kind of fucked, in my opinion. Even if they might irritate you because they act like little kids despite their much older age, well, some of them at least, then, you know, if you're fucking a teacher or someone, just don't be a dick.
like the guy who tried to force feed you a nut.
No, that was that was a different situation. Like that was a fucking life-threatening situation there. That I was being a fucking well, I wasn't being a dick. No, the other guy was kind of a dick to begin with.
That's why I said he was. Like
yeah,
eat
the other
nut. Eat it.
No, I'm saying the teacher shouldn't be a dick, but I'm saying the other teacher shouldn't be a dick and should at least like follow some kind of procedure to handle autistic people. But with me, the other person, which I'm assuming was somehow autistic or some kind of thing, I'm not sure, but he was there for a reason, I can tell you that much. And this wasn't a special ed class, by the way. He was in that class for a reason, so that's all I need to know. And I lashed out at him with fucking good reason, even if he was a dick to begin with, you know, just, yeah. Though I shouldn't have tried to close my eyes, because if he fed it to me faster than I anticipated, then I would have really been fucked. But I took a risk, and fucking grace of God saved me.
Never again.
Yeah.
Never again. You can trust me. I'm your teacher. Wait, you're not listening to this, are you? Listening to what? Think in your mouth.
Oh my God.
But speaking of books, that's what I did for 2 years straight. when I lived over in the town, 2 towns away from here. I had to ride the bus to work for 2 hours each time, each way. It was like all I did was read books. Kept my head down, ignored everybody else in the bus, didn't care about them. I'm like, okay, don't talk to me. I'm like, don't talk to me. I'm reading. People were yelling and crying and stuff on the bus like that. Don't care. Don't talk to them. I'm reading my book. And my book was I kept my backpack with me, 3 or 4 books each time, but it's like I knew I could change them. I read the entire Harry Potter series. I read the entire the one that's in the Wardrobe series. I read the entire some Left Behind series. At the time, I read a lot of different. I read Lord of the Ring. I read them all. I read all the different things for 2 years on the bus. Because I was just nothing else to do. And then after I moved back home, I got all my books. I got all my books on an e-reader now. So I got Nook, so I can read books electronically now. Of course, now I do audiobooks now. I listen to audiobooks and I actually read them now.
See, you know what's really funny? I fucking love how I was a person that never really enjoyed books, maybe unless they were visual, like Diary of a Whipping Kid, for example, because of the fact that, oh, a book is just words. Great. I love how I didn't like books because of that reason, and yet, in fucking high school, I'm able to read properly, and you know, I might make a couple mistakes on words that I might have never seen or don't really know, but for the most part can actually read just fine. And then pretty much almost everyone else in high school, I feel as though that they can't really read properly, like they're in fucking elementary school or something, and it's like, how the fuck does that happen? Like, oh, people wanted to push reading on an autistic person, and yet I fucking know how to read a lot more properly than literally a lot of other people in high school. Seemingly almost every other person in high school, in fact. And I've been in 2 different high schools, and yes, both high schools I've had that experience with. And I'm fucking shocked how both high schools, people don't seem to know how to read properly. And it's such an amazement to, like, how does that even happen? If people pushed that much in the early 2000s, how am I in 2013 to 14 to 2018? I fucking seen people that can't read properly. Like, how does that happen? I don't get it. Like, if people are if people are on their phones all the time, they're guaranteed fucking reading.
Unless they're just like playing, not reading anything, just clicking just moving the fruit to the right space.
What, Fruit Ninja? Or no, Candy Crush.
Yeah, there's like, I know what fruit looks like, I have no idea what this word means, but I can move this apple to...
Well, no, because, well, you can safely say that a lot of teenagers are on their phones on social media a lot, right? If they're on social media like Facebook, for example, or even Twitter, they're guaranteed fucking reading. I mean, you have to read to use Facebook and Twitter, or pretty much a lot of things, actually. So, how is it that they're reading all these different words, and yet, when they read out loud, they make so many pronunciation mistakes? They make, like, okay, let me try and remember general mistakes that I'd hear from other people reading in high school. I'd hear things like them saying one word when on the text it was a different word. So they're kind of like replacing a word or somehow mistaking a word. And yes, this happened a lot, actually.
Well, to be fair, it happened to me. I've done that too. I've like when I was younger, I said the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean.
Oh yeah.
Or I called it a boy and a girl, boy and girls.
Also, another mistake would be like they have to repeat certain things a bunch of times, and no, there's no problems with them as far as I'm concerned. But like sometimes they would just legit repeat things a lot for whatever reason. Oh yeah, let me go back to pronunciation for a second. The fucking things I'd hear them mispronounce is just fucking ridiculous. Like, a lot of the time, if there's a word that is, like, okay, you know how some words in some articles or books, they'll have a word, and then in the middle of the word, they'll have a hyphen, because it's at the very edge of the page, and then it continues down the next line?
Yeah.
A lot of the time when that situation happened, people would mispronounce the word. And albeit I made that same mistake in the past, but I wasn't really making it in high school. It was more so maybe in middle school.
Before you knew what hyphens were.
I'd say that it would be a... Wait a minute, what'd you say?
So was that before you knew what hyphens were?
All I knew about hyphens back then in middle school was the only purpose they use a hyphen for is if you have to extend a word from one end of the page to the next line. That's literally all I knew it for. I've seen words where they had the hyphen in between two words, but I never understood, and to this day I still never understand how that works. Like, what purpose does that serve? Why can't you just put one word and then a space and then another word? Like, when do you use a hyphen? Oh, fuck you, kid. You're not gonna learn that shit. Because, you know what's more important? Fucking Shakespeare. You know, well, guess what? I don't think Shakespeare is important as using a fucking hyphen. That's what I think.
Like, maybe Shakespeare was important if you're taking theater or something like that, or you're actually performing a Shakespeare play.
Okay.
Important.
Okay, if you're learning about the history of theater, then yes, I think it would be important at that point because it's pretty relevant.
Or if you're performing or if you're performing a play from Shakespeare.
Well, more or less, you have to understand how to say certain things and just memorize the lines, and at that point, you should be fine. You don't really need to know too much.
Or these are rewrite Shakespeare in modern American.
Well, in that case, the director would have already gotten that taken care of before anyone else sees it. So,
like, bam, like Juliet, babe, let's do this.
Pretty much. Going back to what I was saying, though. So yeah, they mispronounce words, especially if a word is being extended. They'd replace words somehow. They might put an extra word in between, like, for example, the. I think that was something that they used. I never really understood that, actually. This is a general thing, too. I've seen a lot of things where it's like, oh, someone is reading it, let's say an audiobook you're listening to, and you're reading along with the audiobook, and the fucking person that's reading it says one thing, but then the book says a different thing. And it's like, what the hell? And I've seen this in fucking... I've seen this when... what's the thing? I've seen it in subtitles, too. Subtitles do this wrong, too. Like, the person on screen will say something, but then the subtitle will say another thing. Like, how the fuck does that happen? It's not that hard. Just have the fucking subtitle say what the fucking person on screen says. Why is it two different things? Did you not fucking listen to it properly, or did you just take a script that wasn't the final?
I think for subtitles, at least for some subtitles, I did that. It happened to me watching Dragon Ball. They apparently some old Dragon Ball DVDs from the old original series and like that, where they had the subtitles from the Japanese, you know, to English translation, but they had the dub voices on it, so it was totally mix and match. Like, this is what they would originally say in Japan, but this is what Americans are hearing. So,
okay, well that's still a problem though.
I know, it got me confused. Like, what the hell? What the hell?
Yeah.
So I turn subtitles off and listen to the either I need to turn subtitles off or I gotta listen to the Japanese version.
And also Hauser, in response to it's a translation thing. The fact of the matter is that if you're gonna have subtitles, the subtitles should say exactly or as close as possible to what the person on screen is saying. It shouldn't be like the person on screen says one thing and then on screen it's a different thing. Like, unless you can't understand the person or you have to interpret something, or, well, inference, is that what you should, or what I should do? I don't know, but if you can't exactly get it, then fine, but if the whole fucking line is different, then what the hell are the people that making the subtitles doing? Even if it's a translation thing, if the speaker is saying one thing, the subtitle should copy whatever the speaker is saying. The whole point of subtitles is so then, if your TV is muted or you're at an establishment where the TV is going to be muted, you should at least be able to know what the people are saying anyways, by at least reading it. You know?
Oh, well, for me, it's a different story, but actually, me, it's a different story. Yeah, muting definitely. That's not close. I think that's more closed captioning than subtitles. At that point.
What's the difference?
Subtitles is so you can understand what so many different languages is saying. Like if you're watching a Japanese anime, you gotta read what they're saying to know Japanese. Closed caption is, I guess, for deaf people. Technically, I guess.
Deaf people? Okay, but they're the same thing, though. I mean, I don't really know exactly what closed captioning is, but pretty much from what I've seen, it's basically subtitles, really. I mean, even if it's the same language, it's still subtitles no matter which way you look at it. I mean, you could argue that, oh, subtitles for Japanese people that are trying to look at Japanese stuff are for deaf Japanese. It's the same thing.
Well, of course, the only problem with that is between again, like a translation thing back there is most of the time you go from different languages, like American to American dub, is they totally change the dialogue. Let's remake it. They totally change the dialogue from what it originally was.
Are you talking about the translation thing?
Yeah, like I guess I mentioned this before. Like in a cartoon, Japanese cartoon, they have a very serious scene or something like that. They go over to America, joke, 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 meme, joke.
Oh,
meme,
that.
Joke, meme.
Well, more or less, that has to do with localization. But sorry, to go back to my original point so fast. Okay.
But like I said, the thing. Like I said, the Dragon Ball thing. And the Dragon Ball thing, from what I saw, was stupid in my opinion. In the audio, they had joke, meme, joke, meme, ha ha ha. But in the subtitles, they had what they were originally saying in Japan. I'm like what? This don't match at all. Like what? This isn't what they're saying at all. I didn't have till later. They like translate. They kept the original subtitles, but then subtitle the American dub. So yeah.
Wow. So if I get this right, basically you're saying that they have subtitles for one translation, and then the dub is for this, like a different translation or a localization version of it.
I guess, yeah. Like you can hear what they were saying in America, but you can read what they were saying in Japan. So.
Oh, that I've never seen that actually. That's new. Oh well. My point is when I'm talking about subtitles, I'm more of talking about, you know, subtitles in the sense that it's showing what people are saying on screen, pretty much. But yeah, if the subtitles are supposed to copy what the person is saying on screen, it shouldn't be two different things. What you're talking about, I guess, would be a completely different thing, maybe. I mean, I don't know. That one's new. I never heard of that kind of thing, so I don't know.
So, Snick, what's your opinion about reading books and subtitles?
Do whatever you want.
Thanks.
I will admit that more often than not, though, the original books are often... Anytime a book gets an adaptation to the screen, more often than not, the book is better than the movie or / TV show, only because... I mean, the thing with adapting books is that oftentimes you have to take liberties of the source material. Sometimes it makes sense. Like, the Harry Potter movies were perfectly fine because they took the liberties they needed to take. Because simply put, our books were big books. You couldn't fit all that into a movie.
The problem with that is you can't really listen in a monologue. You can't really show what the things are thinking on the screen. You can't really read the...
Well, the Harry Potter books were not spoken in the first person. They were told in the third person.
So wait, so let me see if I heard you right. You said that the books are usually better than movies, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did hear you.
Well, I'm gonna go over a couple examples right now.
Okay.
Because probably one of the more infamously adapted book series that went to a movie was The Hunger Games. Because the thing with The Hunger Games is that the movies, a lot of fans of the books did not like the movies very much for 4 letters / numbers. PG-13.
Or like the Twilight series.
Well, nobody liked the Twilight books either, so... Same goes for 50 Shades of Grey, which coincidentally started as a Twilight fan fiction.
Really?
Yeah. Literally when someone took a look at the writer's Twilight fan fiction, was like, this is good enough to be a book, and all she did was just change some of the names and remove Twilight references.
I'll be right.
And... So anyways, the big problem with the Hunger Games movies is that they were PG-13, but the books, if they were going to stay faithful to the books, the movies should have been hard R, because the books were very violent. But because the movies were rated PG-13, they toned the violence down big time, which would kind of lessen the impact of the story.
So, would the book be more catered to adults, but the movie is trying to cater younger audiences?
It's kind of funny, because the books were kind of catered to younger audiences, but the movies were toned down to PG-13, since those younger audiences couldn't go see the movies if they were R-rated.
Well...
And the thing is, it's not just Hunger Games. Harry Potter got very dark in the books much later on, but the thing is... But at least Harry Potter kind of has an excuse, because they were able to work in the PG-13 rating. And the thing is, the movies did not tone down the violence. Like, they still showed some grim stuff.
I don't see how it could not be violent. It's a series about killing people for food. And survival and stuff, you know? We can't make that PG, you know, like, Mommy, why is that guy killing that guy? Oh, yes, he's kid, okay.
I mean, and the thing is, like, the last 2 Harry Potter movies, a lot of people thought, especially Deathly Hallows Part 2, a lot of people thought that movie was going to get an R rating, but it got away with PG-13. But it still had quite a few graphic scenes, like Snape's death by the snake. Like, you still see blood, even though you don't really see it on screen. Like, you see blood splatter behind the window.
Actually, I heard something about movies too, a few years ago, how some people say a movie that's rated PG-13 nowadays would have been rated R like 20, 30 years ago. No.
Today's PG-13 movies would have been rated PG 30 years ago. Because the PG-13 movies nowadays tend to have little to no blood. And, not much in the way of... I mean, well, when it comes to cursing, like, they'll still have cursing, and the PG-13 movies are usually allowed one F-bomb. And... for some odd reason, a couple of recent PG-13 movies, for some reason, allowed brief shots of nudity. Which is weird. But nope, blood and gore equals R rating nowadays, apparently.
You know what I think
Well,
about book versus movie adaptations?
well, more on that. Well, I'll say this. The original Walking Dead comics were a shit ton better than the stupid TV series. Yeah, like the...
I was reading about that. Apparently, the virus is a virus. It have all humanity. Apparently, in the TV series, all of humanity has that virus. So,
well, it's the same thing in the comics as well. But the problem is, in the comics, they just never explore the origin of the zombie virus, which is fine because if it's not really their concern and they never have a reason to be concerned by it, then that's fine. The TV series actually has an episode where they go to the CDC and they kind of learn more about the zombie virus. And the thing is, the original showrunner, Frank Darabont, actually did want to explore it a little bit, until the writer of the comics is like, oh, that's not what we're interested in, get rid of that.
Yeah, from what I've read.
So now, in the TV series, they act as though they never visited the CDC.
It's stupid. From what I've read about the Wikipedia about it, you know, apparently you don't need to get bit by a zombie to get the virus. You just have to die and you're a zombie. Period.
Well, no, that part's not stupid because if you can believe it, that's how it worked in the original Romero movies.
You just have to die. You don't get bitten.
Yeah, you just had to die.
So everyone's a zombie.
That in the George Romero movies, the zombies got smarter over time, whereas in Walking Dead, they just rot until there's nothing left.
Well, still, I thought the whole point about zombies is they get bitten to the virus. You're like, you're automatically a zombie if you die. You're out of luck. It's in your blood now. DNA, like.
Well, in all honesty, stuff like Walking Dead made me kind of sick of global zombie apocalypse stories. I kind of prefer stuff like Resident Evil and Dead Rising, where zombie outbreaks, when they occur, are contained to one area, and otherwise society just functions as normal. And there's actually a lot more interesting stuff, including how Dead Rising actually features, like, political debates about letting people with the zombie virus that got bit live.
So, what about World War Z? Was that that's like an epidemic thing too, wasn't it?
World War Z is global. Oh, by the way, that's actually another case. The original book was better than the movie. Even though they're all... Then again, that's kind of a stretch, because the book and the movie are basically completely different. Even down to the kind of zombie they feature. The original book apparently had the Romero-style zombies where they can only walk, whereas the movie has 28 Days Later style zombies where they can run.
Kind of like how video games are better than the video game movies.
I guess people forgot about me.
Well, that's because game movies never follow the source material right, and not to mention most games, especially from the early days, didn't have much plot to work with. But the last thing I wanted to bring up that most recently happened was a book called Fahrenheit 451. It got a made-for-TV movie adaptation that played on HBO. A lot of people hate it because it kind of ruins the message of the book in favor of doing politically correct shit.
What? Wait a minute. Okay, now I'm intrigued. What exactly does the TV show do? Because I've read the book.
It's a book.
Huh?
No, it's a movie. It's a made-for-TV movie. Supposedly, it turns a book with very complex themes about how people are influenced by the media, and thus they suppress the influence by burning stuff like books, making it so that people can't access media and not feel things about media. They turned a story about that into a story about how we need to suppress harassment and internet media.
Harassment? What?
It's always harassment this, harassment that, the end. Internet culture,
Are
fake
you
news.
fucking kidding me? That's just a flat-out insult to the book. I'm not
And
gonna
we go-
lie.
Oh, trust me, all the user reviews on IMDb are giving the movie a good old thrashing.
And once again, this podcast goes back to SJWs.
Wow. But yeah, that is just
Don't
a flat-out fucking
Full circle.
slap to the face for the writer of the goddamn original book. Though I have heard that there's also another movie. I don't think it's as recent, if at all recent, but I think there is another movie before the recent one.
It's fucking funny how a stupid action movie called Equilibrium, which follows the basic premise of Fahrenheit 451 but isn't a direct adaptation, it's funny how that movie respects its source material more than the actual movie. Even though there is an adaptation of the movie from the 60s that I heard was good.
Well, I'm going to try this again. So you know what I think about books versus movie adaptations?
Well, actually, one more thing. It's a good thing that the movie didn't do well, because even the critics gave it a good bashing.
Huh. Wow.
So what was your saying, Mario?
For me, well, I always hate it when people just automatically say that, oh, this movie adaptation isn't as good as the book because you can take the book in your own way or something like that. And I just hate it whenever people say that the book is always better than a movie adaptation automatically. That is fucking bullshit. I think that generally speaking, if the movie adaptation respects the source material and doesn't stray that far away from the original book, the movie adaptation is generally better, in my opinion, because of the fact, well, one, you can actually see what's happening, so you don't have to, quote-unquote, imagine it.
Imagination.
And two, as a person that has taken 3 years of video classes, I kind of see respect in the people that actually make a movie adaptation out of a book, because it takes a lot of fucking work. I mean, you have to pretty much get all the dialogue from the book. You have to literally look at the book and fucking follow it as close as you can to the source material. And you basically have to take all that information from the book and turn it into a visual thing. You have to recreate a lot of the things from the book, and it's a lot more work than writing a book, in my opinion.
Oh, yes, well, I know that. I wrote a book one time. I tried to write a book one time, and then I tried to make a screenplay out of it. Making a screenplay is totally different from writing a book.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta do the screenplays. You gotta do actor movements. Right, left stage, right stage.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff. And then you gotta translate the words into a script format. You can't say George says this. You gotta say George colon then the line and stuff, and then their actions and stuff.
Yeah, and plus, not to mention the audio work you have to do with it as well, especially if you want to have it surround sound like nowadays.
Of course, and again, most screenplays have like 3 or 4 different versions of it, editing and stuff too. You get the primary screenplay from the translation, then they got to add the other stuff. Usually, it's like a 3 or 4 layer project.
Yeah. So generally speaking, the movie adaptation takes a lot more work than the book, but on the book's defense, the movie adaptation could not exist without the book. So there you go. But even then,
I think there's been. I'm not positive about this, but I think there's been crime when that's reversed. They made the movie first, and then they look based on the movie.
There have been cases like that before, and I don't really have too much experience about that. But
like maybe Star Wars. I think they built the movie first, and then they made the book afterwards, based on the.
I don't know, but basically, a book adaptation of a movie. I kind of think that would be a lot more easier to do, as long as you could explain what's happening from the movie and turn it into a book format. Then there you go. And at that point, then you can argue whether or not the book adaptation of the movie is better because it's a book or whatnot. But as long as the movie isn't too far from the original source material and it does a lot of the things, or a lot of the things that happen in the book happens in the movie, then yeah, movie adaptation is better because you can actually see what's going on. But if the source material says one thing and then the book does completely different shit, like what Schnick just said, then yeah, I would argue that the book would be better at that point.
Oh, look, my favorite scene.
But yeah, generally speaking, like I said, I really hate it when people fucking say, "Oh, the book is better no matter what." Like, no, fuck you. That's bullshit.
It's situational.
I mean, it is. I do say it is fucking preference whether or not you want to read a book or look at a movie adaptation. But you shouldn't call a movie adaptation bad because it's a movie and a book good because it's a book. That's fucking bullshit.
I think to get the full picture, you should. I think personally, I think to get the full picture, you should look at all the sources. Like I've read mangas and I watched the original dub of stuff. And I've watched the American dub of things. So I've read everything I can about the subjects. Or I read books. I've seen Harry Potter. I read the books. I've seen the movies. You gotta get the full picture. You know, you can't take sides. Like you can't take sides. You know. Because you can't take sides you want to. But
well, I mean, you could do that, but that's if someone is really dedicated to whatever they're following, I guess. Like, if someone likes something that much to a point where they'll read the book and the movie adaptation, if they want to do that, they can go right ahead, but to do that all the time, I'd say that would just not be a very good decision.
Like people that read the comics and then also watch the Marvel movies. And they read the DC comics or Marvel comics and also the movies too. They're like,
well, when it comes to that, that's a whole different situation, I'd say, because the comic, you do have something to look at. So my argument falls apart when you're trying to put it with comics and movies because of the fact that, oh, comics do have a visual representation of what's happening, and the movie is the same thing, but without words. And it's live action.
To be fair, there was one movie that sucked for the book, like The Cat in the Hat. I like the movie. The Cat in the movie sucked, in my opinion.
The live action movie?
Yeah.
If you're trying to look at it as a close to source material as possible thing, then yeah, I can see why you'd think it's bad. But when I saw it as a kid, I kind of looked at it in a somewhat different perspective.
Oh, and that
I don't know how to explain it, but
that book did have pictures in it. So
I mean, here's my thing with The Cat in the Hat. If you're trying to look for a movie that falls as close to the books as possible, then the live action movie you're not going to get luck with. But if you're not trying to get as close to the source material as possible, then you can get some enjoyment out of the live action movie, but it's not going to be the same thing.
But then at that point, it's just the only thing about that movie, the book is a cat with a hat.
Yeah, but I mean, with my argument implementation, Cat in the Hat live action movie versus Cat in the Hat book, with my implementation of the argument, Cat in the Hat book would win because the movie doesn't follow the source material too much, but at the same time, the movie itself isn't really a bad movie per se. I mean, not that bad, so you can get enjoyment out of it, but it's not really going to tell the story of the book story, I guess. I don't know. There's always exceptions to things, in my opinion, and Ken has one of those things. Like, oh, people hate it because it doesn't follow source material, except, oh, wait, the movie isn't that bad, so does it really matter that much?
Really? It wasn't that bad? I thought it was terrible.
I didn't think it was that bad. Like, I don't really understand why it has that much hate. Like, oh, it doesn't follow the source material. Okay, I can see why you'd hate it for that, but that's like one reason.
No, I thought it was a stupid movie. I thought it was a stupid movie. Period. Like, this is.
Well, why do you hate it though?
I'm not sure. It was like I was watching. I'm like, yeah, it's stupid. At the time, it was like, yeah.
Well, for me, on its own, the movie is pretty entertaining. Yeah, it doesn't follow the story of the book, but
maybe because I watched it as an adult, you probably watched it as a kid. I was already an adult when I watched it. I guess.
Talking about again?
Cat in the Hat movie, if it's good or bad.
Oh, Cat in the Hat.
Well, the funny thing with me is that I saw it both as a kid and an adult at the same time, and honestly, I liked the movie even after I saw it again as an adult, as a much older person compared to a kid. Why? Because I do think that it is entertaining. It does have some entertainment value. Sure, you're not going to get high quality stuff. It's not going to be premiere or anything, but
I think at that
good.
point is well, I liked it like as a kid too. That people like an adult too, because I think at that point, I think it's my opinion. When you like that as a kid, you know, it carries on to adulthood sometimes. Like, I liked it as a kid. I still like it as an adult. You know, it's like, oh, that was cool. You know, it really wasn't. I'm like, but I still like it because it was like I still like Darkwing Duck and stuff, and the original DuckTales, and I saw.
Oh wait, here's a question: what happens when you take a TV show like SpongeBob and put one of the episodes into a book and make it a book adaptation? What then?
Because they've done it before, actually.
Yeah, I've seen some books. I don't know. All I remember is I went someplace, and not a bookstore, but just some place, some generic place, like, I don't know, fucking dentist or something, and I'd see a book of SpongeBob.
I guess the same way
I just wonder, why does this exist?
I guess the same way they make Kingdom Hearts into a novel.
I suppose, but like, the TV show thing, I don't really see the point in that. Like, you have the TV show, but why put it in a book? That doesn't make much sense to me. Like,
they did that a lot in the 80s. Like they made Frogger walk into a book. It was even a nostalgia critic commercial thing.
Oh yeah, and also Vandalia, to give you additional backup with your Kingdom Hearts example, there's also the Halo book, the book adaptation of the video game.
Is there a book? Is there a Shrek book?
Yeah, there are.
Well, what kind though? Like novels or kids' book?
Ooh.
They're novels and they tell original stories.
Oh, original? Oh, well then, that's.
Oh, even
I
better.
don't know if that's an
If you want
adaptation.
to follow the continuing adventures of Shrek, you need to get some damn books.
Even better. Shit Ops 3, the novel.
No, fuck that. Well, if the story wasn't good to begin with, I doubt the story's going to be any better in a book form.
Chapter 1. Player 1 fired his gun. Player 2 dodged the gun. Player 3...
What the fuck kind of shit is that?
It's based on Black Ops 3. Like, player 4 yelled in the player 4 yelled in the headset. You already
Racial. No, player 4 yelled in their headset racial slurs that would frighten the hearts of the innocent. I don't fucking know.
Alright.
Stinky Shrek.
Shrek the third novel book, dear God no, says SS Lovebird.
Oh, SS Lovebirds in. Oh god.
So you may want
Was Shrek the third?
So you might want. So Mario, you want to tell everybody what we learned today?
Fuck.
Or should I?
Well, from what I can do with my shitty memory, don't call a book good automatically because it's a book when you compare it to a movie adaptation. Look at the movie adaptation, and if it follows the book, then I don't really see what the point of complaining about it is, but take it as you will, I guess. Do what you want. Don't fucking be an SJW when you're trying to make a movie about a lot of themes and slap it in the face. Security is essential, especially when some asshole older brother is trying to fucking break through your door, especially when he's all drugged up and shit. And that's all I remember. Sorry. How close was I?
Well, you just missed our first subject.
I did? Fuck, I don't even remember what the first subject was. Alright, what is it?
Breaking points.
Oh, yeah. Damn it.
Alright. If you reach your breaking point, don't kill anybody.
Yeah, that too.
And especially if Snick wants you to play CRPG over and over again.
Oh, SS Lovebird says, that's why my mom hated the adaptation of My Sister's Keeper, because it was very different from the book.
Anyways, we'll see you all Saturday, on this channel at least. But we might see you on Snick or Mario's channel for some live streams later this week or today. Don't know, we'll find out.
Probably gonna do one today, I just don't know what.
Until then, never stop learning, enjoy the randomness. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Barrel.
Shouldn't I quit saying barrel?
No, this is saying barrel. I'm saying boy.
There you
That's
go.
his catchphrase.